ready to rock, man. Welcome to another episode of the Jesus Cartel. With me, as usual, Mr. Clay Russell. Clay, how are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing amazing.
I
I'm
don't
running
know.
late today.
I would say I don't know why I feel a little rushed. Today.
No,
Could
it's
be.
gonna be okay. Truth be known, I've been up since 4:15 this morning. I've done everything correct until it was time to come for Jesus Cartel. And when I saw Nicole coming in, and I got to thinking, I was like, I'm supposed to be somewhere right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It happens that way. You'll have that on those big jobs, as they say. And
the good thing is I hired on correctly.
That's right.
So
That's
I'm gonna
right.
be all right.
So,
Ain't that what those rednecks say?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And so, yeah, man, what's been going on with you lately?
Let me think. Man, a good bit. So we had the banquet.
Yes.
Yeah, huge success, man. It was the 16th annual Fresh Start banquet, and it was the most successful. I mean, we had the most people there. We had the most people stay for the auction. We had the biggest live auction, probably the biggest silent auction. I hadn't looked at it, but probably close, probably there. Biggest raffle, the biggest table sold ahead of time, unless nobody died. Right?
That we know of.
Well, nobody's told me that they
That's
died.
what I'm saying, but that doesn't mean no one did.
Well,
just...
nobody's told me that they died, so that's a good thing. And really, I don't remember hearing any complaints. I thought they did a good job. They, some people said that our speaker wasn't animated enough.
I think that's true. More facial expressions would have been good. Yeah.
Those kind of things. Yeah. Somebody's got, I don't know who it is. I've heard it several times, but I'm not sure who it's coming from. Somebody's got the really good, what do you mean, impression.
Yeah.
I think it might be Brandon Broussard.
It is Brandon.
Is it? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Brandon's.
He's really good at it, if that's who it is.
I keep thinking it's Nicole. He keeps doing it with me, and I'm like, oh, she's in here. Why is she in the men's room? But it's Brandon.
No, Nicole did a amazing job as our speaker, and so the big surprise of the night was our auctioneer was a real auctioneer.
Yeah.
And he was really good.
Yeah.
And he was really good. And Brian Daniel did amazing.
Yeah, he is by far my favorite auctioneer we've ever had. That's not a knock to some of the greats of the past, like myself.
Right. Drew
Wiggers. Yeah. And but no, he had he had a skill for it. He legitimately possessed a skill. He also had the correct humor for it.
Yeah. The balance was
right. It was very good. He prodded just enough, but not so much that you got tired of him talking. And I really enjoyed him. I hope that he's, if he does like that, I hope that he's our auctioneer forever. I really enjoyed him being around, and it was a good night. And people always say like, "Well, this was our most successful event ever." That's just a thing you say. This legitimately was the most successful.
That's why I broke it down.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like when you measure success, what criteria are you measuring on? Well, we have several layers that we measure it on.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went top to bottom because, just so people know, to kind of give you a little insight, we put this big banquet on. There's not been one big meeting on the banquet, but there's a lot of little meetings on the banquet because nobody's involved in all of it except me. And so there's no reason to have one big meeting where people only had to listen to 5% applies to them. So it's a lot of little things. So when it comes together, there's people that haven't seen anything. Like if you ask them, if you ask Stephanie, what about this? She doesn't have a clue. Ask this one, that. And so when it all comes together, it's huge. But here's something so cool that we do that I wish everybody did is on Monday morning after the banquet, we all meet together.
That's right.
The whole group of people meet together and we talk about it. We start by, highlighting the major successes, and we start by highlighting anything that we think was major failures and stuff. But then we work our way back and we look at every bit of it, and everybody gets a point to be able to visit and talk about, because everybody has a different perspective. Everybody sees things different. There's things that Larry saw in the kitchen that nobody else saw. There's things that we saw from the stage, whereas Andrew, Nicole, and I were the only people that got on stage, And so for us to be able to get together, break it down, good, bad, ugly, and look at it, and then the whole time we're making notes and making decisions how to make it better next year. I wish everybody followed that formula, and I wish we could follow it in everything that we do, because here we are, everybody knows it was the most successful night.
Yeah.
There's nobody there that's ever been there before that doesn't know that.
I ran into a lot of people that aren't Fresh Start people since then, and they were like, that was the best.
And so they know it's the best. I mean, Monday morning, we're working out at 6 o'clock in the morning, and Miss Helen is telling me and Steph how that was out of all the banquets she's ever been to. I mean, and she's been to a lot of things from the sheriff's office, insurance companies, and all that. She said all the banquets she's ever been to, that was the best food that she's ever ate at any banquet whatsoever, And so we know that it's that. So most people would just say, hey, everybody, it was the most successful, and they would leave it at that. Yeah. Why? Because you topped what you did before, so we must be doing great. And if we're doing great, don't touch what ain't broke. Well, that's a lot of people's philosophies. But our philosophy is, hey, we analyze everything.
Small turns of the knob.
There you go.
Small turns.
We're going to look at everything. Last year, our biggest change between last year and this year was going with Sister Sherbet yeast rolls, because we used to do that. Somehow I got caught to where buy the rolls at Sam's. Somehow that mentality becomes Sam's rolls, and it didn't become Sister Sherbet yeast rolls from Sam's, right?
Yeah.
And so we made that big turn. So this year, hey, I wanted to know any feedback. Was there any feedback on, hey, this roll is better, or I enjoy this roll? So why? Because we made a decision. To us, it seemed like a big deal at the time that we wanted to make this change. But yet, we make it this year. Well, now we got to look at it and say, hey, did anybody say anything about the rolls? I don't remember hearing anything about the rolls. I just hear that overall the meal was the best it's ever been. Yep. So I wish that we could do that more often. I wish more people would do that often, is that they would do something the very best they could possibly do it, and then sit back and look at it from different perspectives. We even had a community member that was just a bystander that was just there at the event come into our meeting to tell us their point of view.
That's right.
Most people wouldn't care, but we care.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool. And we do it every year. I mean, it's not the first time we ever done it.
It was. And I mean, that's just the best way to live. It's like, hey, we were wildly successful, but can it be improved? And that's the question. And the answer is yes. There were, even though it was the most successful banquet ever, there were several, not just one or two. There were probably 6 or 7 legitimate things that we looked at and said, hey, we could tighten up here.
And it will for sure be fixed next year.
Yeah. And so, we've already ordered some things to test to see if they'll, it's so, I have no doubt, but that's why 16 years in, we had the most successful banquet we've ever had, because nobody's satisfied, not with what the Lord has done. We're fully satisfied with what the Lord is doing, but are we satisfied with the role that we played in what the Lord is doing? Mm-hmm. I'm never dissatisfied because I'm not important enough, but I often look at what I'm doing and ask myself, did I do this as unto the Lord? If the Lord were eating at this banquet, would I have felt good about everything that we brought to him? And if the answer to that question has any sort of reservation, well, we also don't want to serve it to our community. Right. We want to improve in those areas. And so it's like, for a lot of people, that's overkill. For me, for us, Fresh Start, for the culture we set here, well, that's the gospel, is to do all things as unto the Lord. And so,
here's where it becomes problematic to people, and for us, because we're very positive people. So there's some things that happen at the banquet that aren't ideal, but we don't see them as not ideal because we just laugh it off. It's not a big deal. We just laugh it off. So we're not going to let those things take precedent, but still they can be fixed.
Yeah.
So we got to address it. I mean, just like, for instance, one of the things that we talked about is is that every year we have forks and knives that break.
Yeah.
Well, we don't get mad about that or whatever. We just grab another one, and we kind of laugh about it. Wonder how many forks we're going to break this year. Da, da, da. And then, somebody brings up, well, could we make that change? What would that look like if we went with real silverware? Well, you got a cost in the silverware. You got to make sure that it doesn't get thrown away, that you can use it multiple years based on the money that you're going to have in it. How's that going to look with the plates that we have? Do we need to swap to a white plate with a silver rim if we're going to have real silverware? So we can look at those things. But guess what? It's worth looking at.
Yeah.
It's worth looking at to see, hey, at the beginning, we couldn't afford to do those things. Now, hey, we got a little more money than we did before. Can we make this investment to make this thing better? And we don't know. The jury's still out. We're looking into it, looking into some things to see if that would be something. We found a way where we could shave 5 minutes in one spot and 12 to 15 minutes in another spot. Hey, we went ahead and put that in our rule book for next year, and just like it's always happened. So next year when we do it, we won't say we're starting 5 minutes earlier. We're starting at this time. So instead of this happening at 6:30, we've already put it in our playbook. It's going to happen at 6:25. So next year we don't have to tell everybody, hey, we're going to do this at 6:25 instead of 6:30. We just say, hey, we're doing this at 6:25.
Yeah.
And so we've already set things in motion. So it's one thing to look at things. It's another thing to go ahead and make decisions and put them in play. So out of the 5 or 6 things that we made decisions on, I think 4 or 5 of them we've already made a rule about. I mean, it's already in stone. I mean, we got it written down. And the other 1 or 2, we're still deciding which way would be better.
Yeah.
But man, don't be scared to analyze things that you do and try to make it better.
Right.
I've been doing some version of the same workout for 5 or 6 years now. Started in the afternoons, went to the morning times, and it became better when I went to the morning times because it became more consistent. But then been doing that same routine for a long time now, and it got to where I wasn't sore. I was increasing a little bit, but I wasn't getting near about the satisfaction. And so I changed workouts. It's a little less time workout, change workouts, and I've seen massive results from me changing that workout. Same time, same gym, just different exercises, and really a little less time.
Right.
And have seen massive changes in body composition during that time. And it's like Andrew said, just making those little turns.
Yep.
Sometimes less is more.
Yep.
But it's the right things.
And we've seen that change that you made affect other areas of your life. We went and played a golf tournament not too long ago, and you struck the golf ball better than I've ever seen you strike a golf ball. Right. Well, you haven't been playing golf. That's not why. You know what I mean? Right. But we saw it had a positive impact across the board, not because you finally started working hard. You just changed the way that you were working hard, and it had an impact that we haven't yet seen affect a completely different area. Why? Because you were willing to just keep turning the knob a little.
And the other way worked.
Yep.
3 years ago.
Right.
But it wasn't working anymore.
Right.
And just because it used to work doesn't mean it's the way that we always got to do it. I love the way Andrew asks questions sometimes. We're in a meeting and he says, well, tell me, why did we do it this way originally? Okay. That's a good, a good way of asking a question isn't why do we do it this way? It's why did you make the decision originally to do it? Yeah. So that way you can get into the insight of why did you do that. So if he was going to ask me, my workout routine, why did you start that workout routine? Well, part of it, he developed the workout routine, and we started that way. But here's why. Okay, well, why are you doing it that way now? That was right, and it was right. But is it right now?
Right.
So let's look at that. It's the same way with the silverware, same way with the workout. We can look at different things like that. Is okay, what was your motivation? Why did you do it that way now? But is that still the best way to do it now?
Yeah, and that's a great point too, because if we would have started 3 years ago with what you're doing now, most people, I won't say you because you're wired a little different than most
Mm.
people, but most people would have quit
Mm.
not long after because it's just a daunting way to start. It can be very discouraging, like that when your mind quits 5 minutes in because of the rapid intensity of it, it usually doesn't build well for longevity. And so we built something that would be uh, complementary to your goals, but wouldn't be discouraging in any
Right.
way early on. But you've been consistent for over 3 years now. It's just like obviously it makes sense that
Right.
you're in a wildly different place after 3 years of consistent working out. And so, man, that's awesome. It's a really good point. It's the way that you ask questions matters a lot.
It does matter, and so here we are, doing this workout, and we're not doing the same weight. Hey, we're increasing, we're getting better, but just by doing a different workout, now that we're at this level, has taken it to a whole other level. Well, are there things at the banquet that, hey, we're doing these things the right way, but is there another, is there one area where we could shift gears kind of completely,
Yeah.
a little bit, I don't know, I mean, sometimes there's things like that and sometimes there's not. There's things that we do at our banquet that nobody else does, but once they see it, they're like, uh-oh, we got to do this,
Yeah.
there was things that auctioneer did that, I mean, he, like you said, he did great with the humor. He knew, but he knew how to go after the money.
Yeah.
And he knew how to do it. But one of the things that he did better than anybody, any auctioneer I've ever seen is he was so clear on where he was.
Yeah.
And I'm at 1,500. Can I get 1,600?
Yeah.
And I went back and watched a video, and he would say that 5 or 6 times, and it wasn't just to try to get more money. It was so that everybody in the room was processing. I'm at 1,500. I'm trying to get to 1,600.
Yeah.
And I think, and I just feel like that in our spiritual life and our physical life, if we would make some declarations like that, hey, I'm at this,
Yeah.
but I need to get to this. I think it would make a big difference in our lives. And that was just something that I really noticed with him because, we, like, I don't even know what we're supposed to be talking about today, but, I know, like Jerry Ward said, he was at an online auction the other day and the guy was so fast that he bought a piece of equipment and wish he would have bought the other piece of equipment, but it happened so fast that he didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And so he needed to. The second one sold cheaper than the first one, but he couldn't keep up with what was going on so much that he missed out.
Yeah.
Well, I think in life that if we're not setting clear examples and clear narratives of what we're trying to accomplish, that sometimes we can miss out on things, and people that could help us with those things aren't able to help us because we're not clear in where we're trying to be.
Yeah.
But if I'm at 1,500 and I'm trying to get to 1,600 and I'm letting the world know, hey, somebody's going to try to help me get to that 1,600.
Yeah.
And so I think that, hey, if that's you and you need to move forward in life and you need to have a stronger relationship with God, or you need to, read your Bible more, or you need to lose weight, or you need, whatever it is, by saying those things out loud and being very clear with what you're trying to accomplish, I think that people are more likely to come alongside you and help you with those things.
Yep. 100% agree.
Mhm.
And, this episode we intended to do pretty quickly. And so I think that the topic we leaned into is a great topic wise, So the question now for you is going to be, where are you already successful that the Lord is saying you still need to take another look at?
Yeah.
Where are you already succeeding? Where's something that's going well for you that the Lord's saying, hey, I'm not saying this isn't going well. What I'm saying is there's still some ways we can improve. There's still some ways we can get better.
Where's your 1,500 that needs to get to 1,600?
Right. Right. And, I think that a lot of people do a poor job of just assuming that successful people hit a place and stay, like they coast at that place. And it's like, there's a reason the rich get richer.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're continuing to pursue in those areas. It's like they don't hit an amount of money and go, wow, this is this is great. I got $100,000. I've never had $100,000 before. I was a child, I never had 100,000. Now I have $100,000. It's like they're not like, well, this is life now. I'll just hold this. No, they continue to grow that expertise, and then they have $1 million, and then they go from that to 10, and it's just a continual increase. And I'm not obviously advocating that we all try to get wealthy or be overtaken by greed. That's not what I'm saying, obviously, but I'm saying like the strongest people I know are still getting stronger.
Yeah.
The fastest people I know are still getting faster.
Yeah.
The smartest people I know are still getting smarter. The people I know in the most elite areas of life, none of them are resting in that area.
Yeah.
And they've all got every worldly reason to rest. It's like the best fighter I know has reached a level in combat that I will never sniff.
Right.
I'll never even get close to it. And he trains harder than I do. Why?
He's already there.
Why? No one will, like 99.9% of the world will never come close to where you've arrived. Why are you still working so hard? It's because that's how he got there.
Yeah.
It's that mindset that got him to where he is. And so you can't just turn that off. And so analyzing where we fail, that's pretty easy. Yeah. Like you failed. Like obviously we got to do something different. And that is the easiest way, I will say, to improve, is to fix the areas you fail in. But once you kind of hit a good place in your life, continuing to climb that ladder is not in trying to find ways that you failed, because you're probably not going to fail a whole bunch. It's going to be more infrequent. But there's plenty of places that you can tighten up, And so if you can get 1% better at 5 or 6 different things, that's a pretty good jump. That's a pretty good jump. And so what is it that you're already doing well that the Lord is saying, hey, you're doing great, but I think that you can improve here?
And here's what's unique about this topic is because if you ask people, what is some of Clay's best qualities and stuff, people are going to tell you that, hey, his drive, his ambition, his, resolve, different things like that. But really, it's really not my nature.
Yeah.
And so my nature is, I don't want to see how much money I can make. I don't want to see how strong I can get. I don't want to see myself be perfect. No, I really don't. That's not my nature. My nature isn't to have all the money in the world or all those kind of things. That's really not my nature. My nature is just to be better than I am right now.
Yeah.
And most people aren't that way. Most people that are very successful on purpose, and it's because they're trying to be the very best they can be in all these areas. But with me, it's just, hey, God's given this to us. Let's do the very best that we can do with what He has given us, and let's continue to be transformed into the image of God and continue to get better in life. But it's never like my ambition to have more money than anybody, or anything like that. I don't have that extra drive. I don't have the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mindset. Kobe Bryant probably had one of the strongest minds.
It's called the Mamba mentality.
Yeah. And I mean,
there's literally,
I know it's literally called after him.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he has the greatest mindset is actually named after him.
Yeah.
And so I don't have that mentality to be the very best basketball player, no matter what it takes. I just don't have that. But I do have the mentality of, hey, we've gotten rid of the failures. We're not failing anymore. We're moving forward. We're doing good. We're successful. But let's just keep tightening it up a little bit. And let's keep getting a little bit better. And let's keep doing those things. If you noticed, when I told you what I did in the gym, I didn't say that I doubled my workout time.
Right.
I actually work out a little bit less time. I just changed what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm not in the gym all day trying to accomplish this. No, I'm actually in the gym a little less than I was before. Yeah. I'm just getting better results. And so I want to be that way with everything. I don't want to get so focused on generating wealth that I'm not able to do this over here. I don't want to get so involved in ministry that I'm not able to minister at home.
Yeah.
But hey, if we can tweak some areas, get a little bit better in some areas, analyze some areas, I'm all for it. Now, I do believe that the major stumbling block for this whole mentality that we're talking about is pride. I think that's the major stumbling block, is that some people are so scared to get other people's opinions on their lives or
Yeah.
whatever that they will just, hurt themselves, stunt their own growth just because they're scared to let other people have even an opinion about things they could do better.
Yeah.
That's not my mentality.
Yeah.
And I know it's not yours.
Yeah, man. And consider that for a second, that you just walk up to somebody who knows you well and you say, "Hey, where do you think I'm weakest?" A lot of people, if you're honest, wouldn't be able to handle the answer. Right. And it's not even that they're going to say anything horrible about you. It's just like your self-image is so frail. Your value and your identity in Christ is so frail that any sort of like, hey, you're not quite up to snuff in this area would just like wreck you. Right. And it's like, man, that's the only way we get better. Just the only way that we get better is by knowing what we need to work on. And I've never been a huge fan of a lot of the AA stuff, but when I was around people who were very involved in AA, they used to say this phrase all the time, and I do like the phrase. And the phrase was "self can't see self." They used to say that all the time, and what they're saying is like it's very hard for a person to look at a mirror and be unbiased about what they see. Very hard. Not impossible. There are people who can do it. I am one of them, but it's more rare. If I know 100 people, there are 3 of us that can look in the mirror and be like, "Hey, I suck at this. I suck at this, and I better get better at this." 3 of the 100. Right. You know, it's not common. Most people are way nicer to themselves than they deserve to be. And I'm not saying we should beat ourselves over the head and say that we're worthless, because there's a lot of things I need to get better at. Like today, there's a lot of things on my mind right now that I need to improve in, but I'm not degrading myself and saying, wow, I'm such a piece of trash in these areas. For me, it's like I've got a hash mark that I'm chasing. So for me, it's a race. I've inserted myself into a race. It's like, okay, this is where I got to get. I'm going to try to get here. Realistically, this should take me about 8 months. If I'm diligent with it, I'm going to try to do it in 6, you know? Will I get it in 6? Honestly, probably not, because 8 was the realistic marker. Yeah. But I'm going to try. I'm going to try to work a little bit harder than it calls for and see what happens. And worst case scenario, 8 months comes around and I haven't hit it yet, but I've improved a lot because I was wildly diligent in it. And it's like, if I'm not unbiased enough to be honest about those things, well, then I don't work at anything because I'm good enough. Right. I'm good enough. It's like, well, now you don't get any better. And you attract your own type of person to you. And so for me, those 3 out of 100, those are my friends. Those are the people I'm closest to, the ones who are also unbiased and honest and work hard at fixing things about themselves. People who are complacent surround themselves with other complacent people so that nobody challenges them. You're protecting your little ego bubble by not getting anybody in there that might rock the boat a little bit. And that's why communication is so important. And you mentioned like how I ask questions. Well, it's because it matters how you ask questions. And when I asked a question the other day, I presented it in a way that I made sure nobody thought that I thought they were stupid for what we were doing. Right. Because even though that's never what I would have meant, if I would have asked it a certain way, it could have been taken that way. Yeah. And so I wanted to guard anyone from ever even considering that maybe that's what I was implying. Yep. And so the way that I said it, I said, hey, I know if we're doing this, there's a reason for it. And so could someone just elaborate to me what that reason is?
Yeah. Or was.
Yeah. And so I just acknowledge like, hey, no one in this room is stupid. I don't think anyone in this room is stupid. If we're doing this, I know somebody had a good reason for it at the time that we started it. Could someone inform me as to what that is? And now let's see if this is something we need to continue. Right. You know? And so nobody took offense to the question. Now, if I go in there and say, why in the heck are we doing this?
This is stupid.
Now it's
Whoever
like,
come up with this is
yeah. It's
hopefully
like
they're not still here.
Yeah, this is a problem every year. Why have we not? And it's like, okay, dude, you've just implied something like wildly aggressive.
And a lot of people would handle it that way.
Yeah.
You know, and so now I had a group of first phasers, and I asked them a question earlier this week. I said, what are 3 things that you need to stop or change or quit doing? You know, what's 3 things you need to quit doing, stop, change in your life? and they gave good answers. A
Sure.
lot of times in those groups, it's a little, little whatever, but they gave good answers. And we talked about, what are they and why, went around the room. And then the next day I come in and said, hey, if I was to ask the ones closest to you, like your mama or your wife or whatever,
yeah.
what are 3 things that you need to stop or quit doing? What would they say? Well, now all of a sudden the room gets quiet.
Yeah.
And they, and then you have a couple of them. They're like, "Well, she would say I need to quit drugs." No, she wouldn't. But she would say I need to quit alcohol. No, she wouldn't. She's going to go to the deeper things.
Yeah, she's going to cut to the core of it.
Right. You think that she thinks that you're perfect without drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
But she knows the truth.
Yeah.
And so, but when you kind of challenge them on that, of course you're a liar, so you pick up the phone and you call, and you let them hear it, and all of a sudden 3 turns into 10.
Yeah.
and none of them were on their list.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they get a little butthurt about it, but it is what it is. Not everybody out of a group of 11, 4 of them gave me permission to call their people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not ragging anybody. It's all fun and games. I'm just saying not everybody is ready to hear what people's opinions of them are.
Right.
And even the ones that think that they aren't.
Right.
Out of that whole group, there was one that I actually got in touch with their people. And so I told him that I got in touch with this person.
Yeah.
And the entire class, he was a different person than he was the day before.
Right.
Because he was waiting until after class to hear what she said.
Yeah.
And he was nervous as all get out. Now, she didn't stop at 3.
Yeah.
She gave, a bunch of, and he said she's right. But not everybody's ready for that.
Right.
Not everybody's ready to hear what people really think.
Yeah.
And so.
In your mind, you drink too much, and that's causing issues in your marriage. And so they would say you should stop drinking.
Right.
But what they really know is you don't love yourself, which is the reason that you drink, to cope with the fact that you don't like what you see in the mirror every day. And since you don't love yourself, you're incapable of loving other people, which is what's really causing issues in your marriage.
And your wife knows it, and the guy doesn't.
Right.
Because he's a moron.
But you're not ready to hear all that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You're not ready to hear that every day when you wake up, you get up first thing in the morning, you go use the bathroom, you look in the mirror, that you hate what you see.
But the people know.
And you think like we live in this illusion that they are also oblivious to it, and they're not.
My wife texted me this morning exactly what I was thinking that I never shared with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, here I am thinking this morning, does she even realize what I'm thinking? And she texted me what I was thinking without me asking her while I'm driving down the road.
Yep.
And so, man, people know.
Yeah.
So you might as well use that to your advantage.
Right.
Now, don't go ask somebody that doesn't have your best intentions at heart.
Yeah.
Don't ask somebody that's going to try to lie to you, to suppress you, or manipulate you, or all that. But you know who you can talk to.
Yeah.
You know who's going to shoot you straight. You know who that is. You might avoid that person a lot, but you know who that is.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that person, you need to go get that person.
Yep.
And look, they already know. Look, I can tell you this. Every time I've ever done it with people's family members, or people were ready to give an answer.
Yeah.
I went to a good friend of mine probably 5 or 6 years ago and said, man, I feel like I need help in this area. And he goes, I've been just begging God to give me an opportunity for me to help you in this area.
Yeah.
He didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to say, man, I don't really know. Let me think about that one. He knew exactly the area I was struggling in and knew what he could do to help make it better.
Yep.
There's people in my life that are like that. And if you don't have them, you need to grab them.
Yeah. I'll make 2 points and I'll be done. First, I want to say that you asked me that very question before you started pastoring Thrive Church. You came to me and you said, Andrew, tell me what it is about me that's going to make pastoring this church difficult for me. And the follow-up to that is, I don't remember what I said, because after I told you, you addressed it, and it doesn't come to my mind anymore. And so that's the benefit of asking that question. You heard an answer, you said, "Yep, I can see it," and then you made an adjustment.
Yeah.
An immediate adjustment. And so now when I think, what did I even say? I don't have whatever that was even come to my mind because you addressed it already. And so that's the first point. The second point is this: if you ask someone and they tell you, don't defend it. Don't defend it.
Say yes.
Whatever they say, just say yes. Because whether what they said is exclusively true or not, you are at least being perceived that way. And you're still responsible for how people perceive you, even if it's not true. You may not be a prideful, arrogant jerk in your heart, but you're being perceived as a prideful, arrogant jerk, and that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
And so don't go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not like, hey, take a breath. If it's being seen from the outside, there's a reason it's being seen. I tell people all the time, I'm very open and honest about that. For whatever reason, when people first meet me, I tend to not always give a great first impression. I've not yet nailed down exactly what it is, but I have more people come to me than anyone on earth and say, "Hey man, when I first met you, I didn't like you, but after I spent some time with you, man, you are just as genuine and as good." And it's like, I have yet to exactly finger point exactly how, but I have constantly made small turns to that knob, and I don't get it near as much as I used to, but it's because I'm just trying to turn the knob and make some adjustments there. And I'm not done turning that knob.
Right.
We're still turning it because even though I'm not what they painted me to be, I was coming across that way,
right,
and I'm still responsible for that. And so I didn't freak out and go, "I can't believe that you would ever have." It's like, man, I'm sorry that I came across that way. Could you tell me what it was?
and it's different if it just comes from one person one time or whatever.
Right.
But if this is something that you're hearing,
yeah,
well, you know, I got to take responsibility.
yeah. For in the last probably 10 years, I've probably heard that from 30 people. That's a lot of people that come up to you and say that. But
I'm good.
Yep, I'm good.
Love y'all.